What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Smooth Vision channel. I'm here to bring you some updates and scores from essentially the halfway point of the 2019 NFL season. And Week 8 actually just wrapped up, and Week 9 essentially kicked off last night. But just running through everything from last week real fast. Of course, the Dolphins took an L. Of course, the Falcons took an L. I'm surprised Dan Quinn, the head coach, still has a job in Atlanta. Titans actually take one from the Buccaneers. Surprised by this, considering Ryan Tannehill took the place of Marcus Mariota at quarterback. But once again, Jameis Winston, even though he puts up 2 touchdowns, puts up 2 picks as well, doesn't help his team out at all. Especially since Ryan Tannehill outplayed him. That's definitely not a good sign. The Colts take one from the Broncos, of course. Joe Flacco pissed off at the end of the game, thinking that they had a chance to win and wanted to see some aggression. Didn't get it from his Broncos, but nonetheless, hey, they take another L. And honestly, Flacco has nobody to blame but himself, to be honest. And of course, going on to LA, the Rams take one from the Bengals. This game was actually in London. The Rams were the home team, but this was a London game. And of course, the Bengals take an L. They're now 0-8 on the season. They're now right there with the Dolphins as one of the worst teams in the league. The Saints take one from the Cardinals, 31-9. They just completely steamrolled them, made them look like shit. The Jaguars improved back to 500 at 4-4 by taking a 29-15 victory over the Jets, who continue to take beating after beating after beating, even with Sam Darnold in there. The Bears surprisingly taken L to the Chargers. They were winning for most of this game, but in Bears fashion, they coughed it up, and somehow the Chargers were able to take full advantage. I'm actually kind of surprised that they did, but here we are, Bears football 2019. The Bills unfortunately dropped to the Eagles. They get stomped on 31-13. Kind of surprised by that, considering the Bills actually have a good defense, but that offense is not consistent enough for them to find any real success. They're 5-2, but this is a bad loss to take, especially at home. The Lions take one from the Giants, and the Giants looked alright in this game, but once again they cough it up into Detroit of all teams. Daniel Jones throws 4 touchdowns, but Saquon Barkley can't get over 100 yards, and they still don't win the game. You know what I mean? He runs good, not over 100 yards, but Barkley did good, and Jones throws 4 TD passes. Still can't win a game. That tells you everything you need to know about the Giants, especially their defense. And the 49ers continue to be undefeated. They are now 7-0 against the Panthers by a final of 51-13. They completely curb stomped them and skull dragged them from one end of the end zone to the other. Quite interesting considering everything that has gone on with the 49ers. They have been on a roll. The Panthers finally get a loss out of their rookie quarterback after the rookie's been playing lights out for many weeks. They're not begging for Cam Newton back, but I'll tell you what, that was certainly a punch in the mouth that I think the rookie quarterback for the Panthers needed. Kyle Allen will be fine, even though he threw 3 interceptions, but he certainly needed that moment to wake him up and made him realize, oh, he's a rookie. I'm a rookie and I still need to develop. So he's going to learn from it. 49ers, of course, continue to roll. More on that later. And, of course, in one of the best games of the week, well, one of the games of the week, is Patriots just completely demolished the Browns and demolished what's left of the Browns, 27-13. The Browns suck. They are complete trash. I called it weeks ago, and it seems as if they are just proving everyone right. They are underachievers. They have all the talent in the world, but they have no idea what the fuck to do with all that talent, so they now sit at 2-5 and wondering what the hell to do next. The Texans steal one from the Raiders, 27-24. Really good stuff. 27-24. Close game. Texans, believe it or not, they kind of stole this from the Raiders. The Raiders did very good in this game, but once again came up short. Even though they were 3-4, they played better than their record. I feel like the Raiders will be fine. And I feel like the Raiders will be, they'll be okay. They'll be fine. But a loss like this is not good. Unfortunately, they are unable to stop actual league quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson was just too lights out in a game like this. The Raiders had the win, almost had it, but came up short. Still, at 3-4, they're okay. They're not in a bad spot. They're still all right. They don't have too many more losses than wins, so that's a positive sign. Packers take one from the Chiefs, 31-24. Without Pat Mahomes, I mean, it went just as good as it could for Matt Moore, but even Matt Moore's best is not good enough, as you can see. Can't outplay Aaron Rodgers. And then, of course, I believe this was the Thursday night game that week. The Vikings, of course, beat up on the Redskins. The Redskins have no hope in any walk of life of winning anything important. And that actually wraps up week number 8. And folks, this weekend, week number 9, going through some of the matchups, you got the Texans and Jaguars. That's going to be a really good one. The Texans will probably take a victory there, but that'll be good. And by the way, the teams that sit out, the Rams, Falcons, Bengals, and Saints all have a bye week this week, so they're going to be chilling. No games for them. The Colts and Steelers, another good one. I think the Colts are going to take one from the Steelers. Steelers have been up and down all year, mostly down, but the Colts surprisingly have been good without Andrew Luck. Let's see if that streak of wins can continue. They've had a little bit of a bump recently, but 5-2 is a good spot to be halfway in the season. And then, of course, Jets and Dolphins, 1-6 versus 0-7. That is a garbage football game. Flip a coin and pick a team there, to be honest. And then Bears and Eagles, they're kind of close in record. Probably lean more toward the Eagles because Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky is. Trubisky is garbage at 5 touchdowns, 3 picks with a little over 1,000 yards. Carson Wentz, 1,821 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 picks. I would probably go with the Eagles. Even though the Bears have a great defense, unfortunately, Mitchell Trubisky is not the answer at quarterback. I imagine the Bears will probably be in market for a quarterback. If not after this season, probably next season. Vikings and Chiefs, that'll be amazing. The Chiefs, I think, are going to have Patrick Mahomes back. I'm not sure. If not this week, probably next week. Depending on if he plays or not, if Patrick Mahomes is starting a quarterback for the Chiefs, they're going to win this game. If Patrick Mahomes is not starting for the Chiefs, I expect the Vikings to steal one on the road in Kansas City. Redskins and Bills. Bills are probably going to take one from the Redskins. I mean, 5-2 versus 1-7, and they're going to be in Buffalo. That's bad news for the Redskins. The only good thing in D.C. going on right now is the Nationals, to be perfectly honest. And then, of course, we have the Titans and the Panthers in Carolina. I would expect the Carolina to bounce back after that rookie got punched right in his mouth and had his welcome to the NFL game. But the Titans, after a big win last week, they might be able to pull off something here. They did face the Bucs last week, but with this Panthers team, you never know, especially with that division the way it is right now. And speaking of Buccaneers, Bucs and Seahawks play each other. This is in Seattle. And Seattle 6-2. Seahawks are just going to take it. Jameis Winston is terrible. I mean, look at the numbers. Over 2,000 yards passing, but 14 touchdowns, 12 picks. Russell Wilson a little more passing yards than Jameis, a little over 2,000 as well. But he has 17 touchdowns and only 1 interception, and that was against the Ravens. Winston already has almost as many touchdowns as interceptions. That is god awful. And then 4 o'clock, getting into our 4 o'clock games. Lions and Raiders, that's going to be real good. I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one because Detroit is hot and cold. The Raiders are also hot and cold, but the Raiders have something to prove, especially after taking that L last week in a very close game against Deshaun Watson and the Texans. I see a Raiders revenge game here, especially since they're going to be in Oakland too at the Black Hole. Oh man, you can't beat that crowd. You can't beat that crowd at all. And then 4:30, we also have the Browns and Broncos. These are, 2-5 versus 2-6. Both these teams suck. Baker Mayfield has 6 touchdowns, 12 picks on the year. Flacco has 6 touchdowns, 5 picks on the year. Ooh, I guess if you're going to pick a devil here, you may as well go with the devil you know. Well, the devil you kind of know than the devil you don't really know. And we all know what Joe Flacco is. Baker Mayfield, we don't know what he is, but so far he's been trash. He still has time to develop, but boy is he far behind in development. I would say pick the Broncos on this one. 4:30 also the Chargers and Packers. What's interesting about this is that even though Phillip Rivers is having an okay year, Rodgers is just on a different level, and I think Rodgers is going to steal one from the from the Chargers in Los Angeles. I expect the Packers, to come out with a victory. And then, of course, real quick, Thursday Night Football this week, 49ers, Cardinals. It was a closer game than it was supposed to be on paper. This was supposed to be a blowout for the 49ers, but they prevail and they win 28-25 over the Cardinals, despite the Cardinals scoring all the fourth quarter points and almost completing a comeback. As you can see, they were very, very close. Garoppolo threw 4 touchdowns. Kyler Murray threw 2 touchdowns. It was a good game for both. Monday night this week is actually going to be Giants-Cowboys. I expect the Cowboys to steamroll the Giants. The Giants are in rebuild mode with their new quarterback. Their new quarterback's looking all right. 1,466 passing yards, 10 TDs, 7 picks. Not as good as Dak Prescott, obviously, but still has a good way to go in development. And, folks, last but not least, the Sunday night game of the week this week is actually going to be the best game on the schedule this weekend, in my opinion. Not just because of the Ravens, but because you have two teams here with two crazy different dynamics, the Ravens and Patriots. This is going to be in Baltimore. This is going to be on Sunday night primetime. And I actually might go to this game. I've been propositioned with some tickets. But anyways, this is going to be a good matchup right here. Probably one of the better matchups of the whole year in terms of Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night, primetime football games. This is going to be one of the better ones. I would love to see the Ravens win, but the Patriots are 8-0 undefeated for a reason. Tom Brady does not have to be TB12. He doesn't have to take the game in his hands. He could be a game manager at this point in his career, and that's mainly because that Patriots defense is strong enough to where they can hold teams out of the end zone, and they can give Brady more opportunities to get the ball down the field and into the end zone on offense. And for the Ravens, even though their defense is not stellar, it's been good enough to keep them in a lot of games, especially in Seattle, for example, when they were expected to get steamrolled by the Russell Wilson offense. Instead, they shut Russell Wilson down. And if the defense can shut down Tom Brady, that's going to open it up for Lamar Jackson, because he can run it, he can throw it, he can do everything. He can even score. Sometimes he'll throw it in the end zone, sometimes he'll run it in the end zone. He is the ultimate weapon on offense. He is, people want to say Michael Vick 2.0, probably the closest to Michael Vick we're going to get. He's on the Ravens, and he is enough of a weapon to where he is a problem. He's a problem for defenses, and he's a problem for offenses too, because the Ravens tend to hold the ball a bit. They tend to grind the clock out, wear down a defense, and it puts more pressure on the offense to score. In this case, Tom Brady can... he can handle that. But in the past, the Ravens have been able to contain him, and if the Ravens can contain the offense I would say shut down the defense of the Patriots, then it's over. If that Ravens offense can somehow outwit the Patriots defense, it's all over, because this game is riding on the Pats defense. Can they keep Tom Brady close enough in this game to where he can potentially steal it, or are the Ravens going to keep that Patriots offense on the bench and wear that defense down to a grinding, probably not thrilling, but at least a solid victory? And folks, with that being said, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening and for watching. I will be back when the games are done at the end of the weekend to wrap everything up. And as always, folks, enjoy the games, enjoy the weekend, and enjoy all the sports that we have coming up the next 2 days. This is your boy, Jay Smooth, signing off. Make sure you enjoy yourselves, folks. I'll see you all next week. I'm out.